What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy. Today I'm joined by Paraskevas Xenophontos, Vin Bonaccorso, and Brandon Kramer. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. How about you?
Doing well.
You know what? Corona slowly coming to an end, right? Can't complain. So we got baseball coming back soon. Now, that doesn't mean that we have a deal in place, a plan in place, but there's progress. Good progress. That depends on who you ask. But there was a new sliding pay scale that was kind of suggested during a round. It's pretty obvious that the Players Association is not down with it. But before we get into our opinions on it, let's just talk a little bit about what the sliding pay scale would consist of. So basically, the players' salaries would be determined based off of their current salaries, and they would get, I think, 40% less is what the max is.
You're talking about
what right now?
The original proposal, you're saying? The original proposal?
No, the one that was just
So
suggested.
the one that was implemented was the owners and the players to get a 50-50 split of the revenue. So you would have to cut down the players' salaries. I mean, Passan touched upon it. I'm just going to pull up the tweet right now. Passan touched upon it yesterday. So let's say for a guy that's making $35 million a year, he would be getting about $7.84 million. So their deals would be cut by more than a half.
Yeah.
I mean, I have this CBS Sports article, and it says Garrett Cole, at $36 million. The 82-game prorated would have been $18 million. The sliding pay scale salary, he'll get $8.06 million, which is a 77 reduction, 77%. But Kyle Higashioka, who makes $579,000, would get about $270, which is 53%.
I'm
reduction.
cool with that. This is socialism, but I'm cool with it.
They also said that with.
No, go ahead, Para.
No, that's what I was going to say. They also said that with Pete Alonso. He's set to make $685,000, but his base salary would be, I think, $375,000 for the 2020
I just have my biggest peeve with all of it, I would have to say, is that I understand if this was, a year where baseball was trying to bargain for a new CBA and this and that was going on, I'd understand. But newsflash to everybody who plays baseball for a living. They play baseball for a living in a time where we are literally coming out of a world pandemic. The world shut down, the entire world. Not everybody, a lot of people, a ton of people are out of work. A lot of people are forced to be creative to make ways of money, to make their different sources of income. So for me, especially the most obscene thing is someone like Blake Snell, who's pitching, and let's be real, 10 to 13 starts in 82 games, because they're not going to make
if
a
he's
start.
lucky, yeah.
So 4 to 5 innings, because it's they got to watch the arms. So he wants all this money. He talks about, it's about my health, long-term health. It's not about health.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's not about your health. If you're going to complain about money, at least complain about money. And I understand. I get it. It's what you have a rare skill set that not many on planet Earth have. I understand the concept. But what you have to do is also come to scale with the world was shut down. It was done. It was donezo. Sports were canceled. When have you ever saw that coming? Sports were canceled. So, I mean, for me, I understand people saying, how can you side with the billionaires over the millionaires, this and that. I get it. But they play baseball. They had a chance to revive the name and the excitement around baseball, like a real chance to be the first sport back. Everybody excited. These stars on the front, people are watching Korean baseball at 4 a.m. Do you know what the MLB would have been like in July if they would have been the first league back?
We talked about that too a while ago.
And what we're doing instead is arguing about money. When I heard today on the Michael Kay show that a lot of the sliding salary is going to be, they're still going to get all their money just deferred, like the what's his name, Bobby Bonilla deal.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense.
So for me, especially the pitchers, that is the most frustrating thing. 10 to 15 starts at most, because not everybody's making the playoffs, and you're going to cry about $8 million. I want you to tell that to the person that's struggling to get to unemployment right now. That's what I want you to. I want you.
Preach, man, preach.
I just don't understand that, like that. And how can you defend that? They play baseball.
No, I mean, there's definitely no
heroes.
excuse for that. I think that it's a real shame that you have guys like Blake Snell out here like complaining that he's only going to be making what $4 million to pitch 10 games this season. Meanwhile, you have how many the unemployment people are filing for unemployment by the millions, and they have no money. They can't feed their families, and then you have Blake Snell going in front of millions of people and having the nerve to say that he's only making a couple million.
He's also making a lot more money on his Twitch streams now ever since the quarantine started. So he's making a lot of money there as well.
But this is what's hilarious to me. Like if you break down the ridiculousness of that matter, just like thing by thing, it gets more ridiculous. A millionaire who was a Cy Young winner, incredible skill set, missed a lot last year, was hurt. Was off when he came back. Wasn't great. Wasn't the Blake Snell we saw. 2, complaining about making millions of dollars to probably pitch in 11 or 12 games. So that's what starts will make. 3, this is the funniest one to me. A dude who's still going to make millions of dollars complaining about money on a Twitch stream. What do you think gave him the money to make that platform?
100%. 100%.
And then he goes off and signs Boris as his agent.
You fire your agent after that, and you're gonna listen. I understand. I understand wanting to get your money. I understand that there's, I've been there with work things. I understand how annoying it is trying to get your money from someone when you agree to something. I get it. I understand the concept. But if you're gonna come out like he did on the stream and say, "How do I know I'm not gonna bring it back to my family? Get my family? How do I know I'm not gonna get sick and die from it? How do I know, bro? It's not about your health." Why are you bringing up health? You know it's not about your health. It was never about your health. It's about your money. Yeah. So that is what's most frustrating to me. If they came out and were like, listen, we need this amount of money and we'll play, okay, so be it. I don't want the BS going around. Because
I agree.
There's way too much BS in the world right now for us to deal with from dudes making millions playing baseball.
But also what it is
bro, what did hockey do?
They came up with a great plan. Bro, 24 teams.
Hockey devised a great tournament-style playoff. Great.
Hockey playoffs are also one of the most exciting things you can watch.
Bro, everybody's going to be locked in because what'd they do? They got it done without being messy in front of everybody. Got it done. Got it out. Laid it out. There it is.
Let's also remember, though, that hockey was already mid-season, so it's different.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether hockey or NBA was mid-season. But the thing is, they came up with the plan. Like their Players Association and their commissioner came together, figured out a plan, made a March Madness type style. One conference in one city and the other one in the other city, like best of 5 for the low-ranked teams, and each team has a number 1 seed. So they came up with a plan. And since the Olympics are going to be canceled, NBC's probably already locked up with NHL. So they got their TV deal. So they're going to have their views.
I think that what you have to realize is that, yes, they were mid-season, so they could devise, or towards the end of the season, they could devise something that was easily, fixable. How are you going to tell me, as anybody in the baseball world, that with playing zero games, that you could not find a way to work this out? You didn't have to worry about the Yankees being 28-13, and how are you going to devise this with this? You didn't have to worry about that if it was some mid-season thing. They're all 0-0. You guys are one of the hugest leagues in the entire world. Honestly, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's just what it's like. And I tweeted about it today. It's just so heartbreaking to me because I love the sport so much. And what do we see right now? We're seeing the polar opposite of what we thought as kids. People playing baseball because they love it. Now we're seeing I'm not playing baseball for 80 games unless I get $14 million.
Yeah. And honestly, the thing that concerns me the most is when I first saw this sliding pay scale and I saw okay, the guys that would normally make $500K are only going to make $200K. And then the guys that are making more are they're going to have more taken off their paycheck. I thought that it was an awesome idea. Now, also, I'm not the one who's getting money taken away from me. But when you look at the circumstances and realize one, these guys aren't playing a full season, so they shouldn't be played for a full season. When they signed that contract, it was kind of with the expectations that they would get paid per season, a full season. Now that's regardless of injuries and whatnot. But also, it's disappointing that there's a significant gap, quote unquote, between the Players Association and the owners. Because like I said, when I saw that, I thought that that was a solid proposition. I thought it was a solid idea and it made sense. So now that there's a significant gap, MLB wants to start the season before July 4th. The only way that could happen is if a plan comes into place within the next week or so. So that means they have to minimize that gap in 10 days, or else we're not going to have baseball before July 4th. So at what point, who's going to give and take where?
And here's the thing. What I really think is we all know the CBA is expiring at the end of this year. For some reason, I think that that they're using this as a negotiation point. I mean, now is not the time. Like, you remember, or we probably don't remember, Vin, you probably remember because you were older. Right after 9/11, what was the biggest thing for the city of New York? Mike Piazza hitting that home run.
I mean, I was only 7 or 8 years old, but
still, but I was like, I was less than a year.
But I mean, I'll tell you what. In 01, my dad's best friend had passed away in the attacks, and so obviously, like, I was like close to my family and everything. And I remember that home run that Piazza hit, and like to this day, I still get when I watch the home run, I can come back to where I was when I saw that home run when I saw it being hit. The other thing that I think that nobody gives credit for that needs to be credited is when Sammy Sosa came running out with the American flag right after 9/11.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And then when he hit his home run, he gave the first base coach that American flag.
Yeah. Do you know what the MLB could have did in 2020 with the superstars that they have to come out of the world pandemic, be the first sport back, a sport that everybody's concerned about dying and popularity dying and this and that, a world where the Lily World Series is canceled, a world where everything is shut down to be metaphorical heroes and play baseball on our TVs. And what do we get instead? Arguments about millions of dollars. Yep. That is what's disheartening to me. Not that the players are being selfish. I think that both sides are showing that they're like ridiculous amount of entitlement, honestly.
100%.
But I mean, that is what, listen, I always mess with my dad about it because he's so old school minded where these players are getting paid too much to play a game, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I don't agree. You know, that's how the world works, you know. Life goes on, salaries go up. That's just what happens.
Yep.
But this is not the time. This is not the time to be doing this.
Also, great example that was sorry.
No. I was just saying where you want you're in a time right now where think about how big the Yankees could have helped the city of New York right now. Think about them just playing at Yankee Stadium. The fact that they can open bars at half capacity or whatever they're going to do first, and you could go watch the New York Yankees. Think about what they could have did. And honestly, I feel thankfully, to my knowledge, I haven't heard much of a peep from the Yankees players about this mess. And honestly, even though Bryce Harper said some absurd things, at least he came out with a feasible proposal that he, I guess, divvied up with his agent. That was an idea. He's trying. He's not crying on a Twitch stream about millions of dollars. Yeah. And then lying about it being about health. Come on. Really.
There's an article I saw that some of the players, a couple of them, I think Paul DeYoung was one of them. One of their only issues was some of the stuff that they're removing. I read that the hot tubs and the cold tubs, removing those. Those players kind of need. They were just that stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff wasn't money. They just want to be give us some feasible restrictions, but don't cut everything off. Give us a chance to recover and stuff, but just don't cut too much up.
I get it, but you have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, again, in my opinion, I think that there's enough logistics about what we've done as a country so far to get to the point we have with safety, and God rest their souls for those who have passed from this. I think that we've done a pretty a good job of learning the logistics. So if you can tell me that MLB, doctors, teams, etc., can't figure out ways to keep things cleanly for players to utilize after their games or whatever it is, There's more going on than worrying about that. That's 100% BS. They're the freaking MLB. They had disposable money. Disposable. There's 100%. Listen, like, how can you not use a hot or cold tub that's going to be unusable? How can you not high five your friends, but you can walk into a supermarket with hundreds of strangers, a Walmart with hundreds of strangers?
I mean, technically, you're not touching those people, but
I mean, you're touching everything they're touching.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, like, one thing that I think is pretty ironic was the whole motto for last season among the players, among the marketing for MLB was what? Let the kids play.
Let the kids play.
Right? And now the kids have an opportunity to play. And if it's all about the game for them, like they've been marketing for the past 2 seasons or whatever, then why should the money even matter at this point? If they love the game so much, they should just want to play regardless of what they're getting paid. They are so lucky to even be in this position, to be in the MLB.
Yeah.
Ask a little leaguer.
It. Exactly.
A little leaguer. If you asked a little league player that was in the World Series, hey, these are your restrictions. You can still play baseball. I guarantee you, every single one of them would say, we want to play.
So, like, on a simpler scale, what I would say is, of course, little leaguers and the people that have played growing up, what they do. On a much more simple scale, why don't we ask minor leaguers what they would do for $85K a year to play 80 baseball games?
100%.
Why don't we ask them that? And then why don't we ask the for like who we've had on, the Max Burts and Josh Stowers, if they would go play for the New York Yankees for 82 games, if the owners agree to give them $75K for the year, give them $100K.
Bro, they'd probably even do it for free. Like, to be completely honest with you.
Listen, that's my point. And that's why, I understand Carabas and everybody else running to the sides of the players because they work hand in hand with them. I worked with a lot of players too, and they're freaking awesome. I love them as people. Yeah. And thankfully, I haven't seen many of the people that I know, talking outlandish about stuff like this because they seem in touch. They're not just, like, read the room a little bit. Like really. Yeah. You literally can open any app on your phone and see the shambles the world was in.
Yeah.
Now that we're finally beginning to heal.
Yeah.
Like, that is honestly, I know I keep, like, banging on that point, but that is really the most frustrating thing. Is that
100%.
the chance of baseball that they have to be like the heroes, to be huge, the biggest again, and they're throwing it in the trash. Yeah. They're straight up throwing it in the garbage. They're throwing the opportunity in the garbage. They're wasting. How big of a time would this have been for all the people crying about Mike Trout's popularity? Yep. To see him on ESPN, Fox, whatever.
And we talked about that months ago because baseball had the opportunity to be the first sport to come out because I think we were talking about, like, WWE and stuff, and we were like, MLB could be the first national sport to jump on the stage and be like, look, ratings, come to me, look at our players, we're coming through Corona. But I think the bottom line here is that I don't know. I know we're, like, want to bash the players a lot for their mentality on this whole thing. But we also have to remember the Players Association probably has a big influence on the mentality of the players. So before, like, we're really too judgmental about the players, I know it's only a few that have really come out and said these crazy remarks. I know a lot of other players have supported them. But I think we're just going to have to see where this goes from here because they're still kind of in the early stages of negotiating. So I say, honestly, soon we should, like, talk to a minor league player for their whole take on this whole
honestly, thing. I think Stowers would be, like, bring Stowers on. You ask him if he wants, if they paid him $100,000 to play 82 games, I guarantee you he'll say yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think that my biggest peeve isn't the players as a whole for what they're doing because I understand that their skill set is so rare and so unbelievably unique, and I understand why they want to get the money that they signed for. But if it's deferred payments like they're being said, and if things are going to be, like, if you have a chance to be a hero to people all around the world that love the sport, don't you want to jump all over that? I mean, the owners, no matter what, they're never looked upon as heroes. They'll never be looked upon as heroes. Maybe George Steinbrenner was because he built the dynasty, but beyond that, the players have a chance to step up, 100%. Up, maybe not sign for what you had hoped or what you had, really planned for. But I understand the negotiations, but I think that as a whole, it needs to be figured out behind closed doors and not aired out like this.
Yeah, the quick point I just wanted to make is if they don't come up with a deal by next week and they had to schedule spring training from June 15th to the beginning of July before the season started, a lot of these pitchers, especially that are making millions of dollars, they shouldn't be complaining because they can't even pitch more than 4 to 5 innings when they first start in their first 4 or 5 starts. And this was mentioned on the Michael K show. So honestly, you're not going to see a lot of these star pitchers pitch to the potential they want to because they can break their arm, get Tommy John surgery easily in one of the first 4 or 5 starts. So honestly, I hope they figure it out by next week because if not, we're not going to have a baseball season come July.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, I think what we all want out of this whole situation is just baseball to be played. So honestly, we just have to see where it goes from here, and that's really it. Honestly, I think that they're going to come to a deal. That's all we could hope for. So I want to say that that's all we had to touch on regarding the current situation. Obviously, as time progresses, there's going to be more updates. This is, like I said, only the beginning. So we have so much more fun arguments to talk about between the players and the owners in the league. So we will see you guys next time.